Nice to see you all joining us this morning. And it's wonderful to be back with all of you. Welcome to our Mind the Moments Tuesday morning gathering, brought to you by Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare and Tufts Health Plan. This is a place where we invite experienced mindfulness instructors to speak with us about what mindfulness means to them and to discuss as a community how we can incorporate these practices into our daily lives. I'm Suzanne Rowe Palacino, and I am delighted to be back here with Christine O'Shaughnessy, mindfulness instructor and longtime meditator. Good morning, Christine.
Good morning, Suzanne. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's so nice to have you here this morning.
Thank you.
Sunny Boston morning. Hopefully, wherever you are, you have a little bit of sunshine. So today we will start off with a question for the group. And then Christine will lead us in a guided practice and have a little discussion on a subject of her choosing. And then after that, we'll have time for questions and chatting. So if you can go to the bottom of your screen and click on the chat, and this gives you the chance to make a little adjustment. When you open the chat, you can click the drop-down menu and choose everyone, and you can see all the comments coming in real time. And thank you for the welcome back. So glad to be here. So Christine, I'll hand it off to you to start us off this morning. Tell us what's
Great.
for the folks.
Okay, so today I thought I'd start with a question, just checking in with what emotion you might have that's kind of underlying your days, but you really haven't had time to attend to. We're in such a fast-paced environment, there's a lot going on in the world, and we don't really have time to process our emotions. They rise up, we feel them, and we just keep going. So today I'd like to just take the opportunity to look at what might be underlying, your days and nights, and then people can just type that in the chat box. And I'm going to just share a quote to start. It's by Daniel Goleman, who's the author of a lot of the emotional intelligence books that are out there. And this quote is, "If you're tuned out of your own emotions, you'll be poor at reading them in others." And so it's so important that we're able to really understand our own emotions, right? And the foundations of mindfulness is being self-aware. So just wanted to check in with everybody if they can just take a moment to see, what emotion might be I sitting with that I haven't really had time to attend to.
All right. Well, I'll start. I think I have a feeling of unsettledness right now. I think because I'm just getting back. I got back from vacation late last night. So just feeling a little bit unsettled. How about you, Christine?
For me, it's a lot of sadness and grief that's kind of underlying. So when I see someone else, anger and grief, tending when I can, good.
A level of depression that we're still dealing with COVID and concern for winter ahead. Very, very true. Worry, fear. Oh, it's good that we're talking about this. It sounds like this is going on out there. Fear.
Anxiety, yes.
Overwhelm, uncertainty. Yeah, a lot of heavy emotions. Feeling frustrated lately with rules, mandates, opinions, etc. That's difficult.
Yeah. Oh, thank you everyone for sharing. Sadness and regret.
Yeah, sometimes it's just good to get that out, huh?
Yeah, just to name it. Naming it is part of the recognition, and even that can be freeing. Sometimes when we can see something so clearly, that in itself can release some of the hold it has over us. This is the way things are right now.
And something about sharing it as a group too is we're holding a lot for folks. We hold a lot for each other, so I think that's a nice feeling too.
Yes, that is. And being aware of our emotions supports our ability in how we choose to participate in life, how we are in conversations with others, if we're constantly pushing back and holding in what emotions going on, the way that we present ourselves to others is going to be different. And sometimes we communicate and say things we really wouldn't normally say had we taken time to actually feel what we're feeling and take responsibility for our own feelings.
I love what you shared about Daniel Goldman, that I guess I've never thought of it that way, but it makes so much sense. Attending to our own emotions helps us to
Yes,
be available to others.
yes. And as people continue to type in, I'm just going to share one other brief passage, which is by Oren Sofer, who does a lot of work on communication and working with feelings. And he says, we tend to relate to our emotions by suppressing them or getting entangled with them. Yet emotions are a natural part of being human that gives us important information about our needs. What needs are not being met for us? And mindfulness is the primary tool to develop our capacity to identify our emotions and regulate them, noticing them and just naming what we're feeling, like what we're doing here, and feeling emotions with balance and having the space inside to appreciate the pleasant emotions, right? We can have joy and happiness, and then tolerate the discomfort of the unpleasant ones, right? So it's that holding pleasant and unpleasant, the opposites. And then he says, hearing and expressing emotions without blame and connecting them to our own needs and values. So often we can have really strong emotions, and sometimes it's easier to blame others for those emotions instead of just owning, this is how I feel.
Yeah.
So I'd like to do a practice on emotions today and give everyone an opportunity to just sit with what they're feeling and do a guided practice around it. So there'll be a little bit more verbal instruction in this practice just to guide people gently through it. So I just want to let people know that.
Sounds good. Sounds great.
All right, so let's begin. So getting comfortable in your seat, you're welcome to sit upright in the chair, maybe coming a little bit away from the back of the chair if you want to feel your body supported. If you'd like to stand for the practice today, that's welcome too. Sometimes standing and having a different posture allows a greater sense of ease for us to release whatever we're holding on to. So beginning just to feel your feet, taking a breath in. And as you breathe out, you're welcome to close your eyes if you would like, or you can keep your eyes open with your gaze downward and soft. And beginning to just feel your whole body sitting here. Feeling the gentle wave of the breath coming in and going out. And as you breathe in gently through the nose, exhaling through the mouth, allowing your whole body to soften just for the first few breaths. Breathing in deeply through the nose and exhaling through the mouth, releasing, relaxing, and letting go. Inviting in another deep, full, nourishing breath. And as you exhale, begin to allow your arms and legs to feel heavy and weighted. Feeling your jaw begin to gently release. Letting go of any holding or tension around the eyes. Having a soft, kind inner gaze towards yourself as you breathe in and out. And then settling on the place where you feel your natural breath most easily. That may be the air gently entering and leaving your nose. Feeling the breath at the back of your throat. Enjoying the gentle rising and falling of the chest cavity as the breath comes in and out. Or feeling gentle sense of the breath moving into the abdomen. Breathing in and breathing out. And then allow this place to be your anchor, the place you return to when the mind gets distracted or lost in the practice. We gently reunite with our breath in this place in our body where we can feel it and attend to it. Breathing in and breathing out. And then begin to gently invite yourself to notice what emotion might be present for you today. There may be more than one. Taking a moment to just name the emotion silently to yourself as you gently breathe in and out. And noticing what prompted it. Maybe a conversation, something happening at work, or in the world at large, just a soft mental note. And then begin to locate, where do you feel this emotion in your body? Maybe it's in the chest, the upper back, head or neck, abdomen, or some other part of your body. And as you locate where this emotion is being held, notice any sensations around it. What does it feel like to be there? Breathing in and breathing out. And softly naming the sensations. Does the emotion feel prickly, hot, or cool? Do you notice a heaviness or a lightness? Maybe there's pressure or tension, a sense of emptiness. Softly naming the sensations as you gently breathe in and out. And you may make a soft mental note. Do these sensations feel pleasant or unpleasant? Every emotion has a tone to it. We're noticing that tone. Breathing in and breathing out. And notice how this emotion may be affecting your breathing. Does your breath feel long or short? Rapid or slow? Maybe there's a pattern to your breath. Our breath has much to teach us if we pay attention to it. Allow your breath to be as it is. And noticing how you feel physically. And as you breathe in and out, softly noticing what needs are maybe not being met for you around this emotion. Nothing arises, just staying with the sensations and the breath. But maybe you notice there's a need of not feeling heard or connected. Maybe it's a sense of safety or trust. Breathing in and breathing out. And now gently moving into this place of allowing and accepting. What is, is. It may be helpful to make a soft mental note as you breathe in, allowing, and breathing out, accepting. Breathing in, allowing the thoughts, feelings, and emotions to just be there as they are. And breathing out, accepting, honoring what you feel. Breathing in and breathing out. And if the mind wanders, just gently returning to the breath. Beginning again. Feeling this next breath coming in and gently going out. Releasing, relaxing, and letting go. And then turning inward towards the heart, just breathing in warmth and energy into your heart. And breathing out into openness. Breathing in and out. And offering yourself a phrase of kindness. May I be kind to myself in this moment. May I find ease in this stillness. Breathing in and out. Allowing yourself to feel what you feel without getting carried away in thoughts or stories around it. Staying present with this next breath coming in and going out. May I be kind to myself in this moment. May I find ease in this stillness. And then letting your attention return to the body, feeling your feet connecting to the floor or surface, feeling your legs, noticing the hips, feeling the whole back of your body, feeling the weight of your arms, noticing the tips of your fingers, feeling the whole front of your body, and feeling the hollow of your throat, and noticing the ears opening to sound. And gently coming back to the sound of bells, tracking them all the way to the end. And when you're ready, gently opening your eyes if they were closed, coming back into this space, and notice how you feel. Notice what's happening. And maybe making a soft mental note of how you feel right now and just reflecting on if that's the same word that you would have chosen before we began the practice today. And I invite you to even share that in the chat box, maybe your before and afterward, or anything else you'd like to share about that practice.
Thank you, Christine.
Welcome. And thank you everyone for doing that. That's not always an easy practice, right? To really feel what we're feeling when the emotions can be intense.
Yeah, it really is such a gift, though, to learn how to do that. Many times we push away, we'll try to push away our emotions or avoid them, and that just causes more pain at times, something that's so important to learn. I think for our children too,
Yes,
we can learn that early in life. That's a gift.
it is. It is.
Someone made a comment. Thank you so much for addressing emotion as a felt sense in the body. A great way to approach emotional issues. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love how the passage from Oren describes that, there's our practice is not just sitting in a cozy position and feeling all warm and fuzzy all the time and at peace. It's not. We have just in life, we have our ups and downs, and I think it's important for people who just start the practice to know that it's.
Yeah. No, that's true. And actually, something that you said about, we weren't raised in a way where we were allowed to express or feel our emotions or taught that. Lauren talks about that because people ask, what if I can't feel anything in my body around the emotions? And he says that's normal. We live in such a disembodied society, right? Which is why mindfulness is so important. We live in this upper part of our body in our head. Um, and if our emotions weren't validated growing up, we may have learned to just repress them or avoid them and to shut ourselves off from them. And so we become more disconnected from the physical body. And so it's a practice. It's just starting to open up to maybe I can just feel what I'm feeling in my left arm. We can just go in gently. We don't have to dive into all of it at once.
Right. Lots of great comments coming through too. It's someone said it helped me see that the emotion I thought I felt originally was a little different than what I was actually feeling, which I think is
That's great.
really great. Far more spaciousness I felt. It helped me see that when we read. I'm new to this and would like to continue daily. Are previous sessions available to listen? Yes. On our YouTube page, Harvard Pilgrim YouTube page. I'll share that in the chat. Yeah. Sometimes I feel emotionally numbed after meditating. All my emotions become less intense.
Those are great comments. Helpful for me in dealing with others' emotions. Yeah, when we can really be in touch with our own emotions, right? We can acknowledge and see and witness for others what they're going through.
I feel a lighter sense of frustration rather than an all-consuming feeling. Yeah.
Mm,
I think it does. It helps us put things in perspective at times,
it does. And this is a great practice that can be done in the moment. So even while you're at work, when you notice something happens and you can feel that emotion coming up, it's just naming it. And for a moment, just acknowledge, "Wow, where do I feel that in my body?" Right? Maybe it's a giant knot in between my shoulder blades, or I have a pit in my stomach. And name the sensations, take a few deep breaths, and then go back to what you're doing. So at least you're not just ignoring it. And it can just in 30 seconds, acknowledging it briefly in that way and getting into that sensation of it, or even just acknowledging, oh, it feels uncomfortable, right? And just knowing that, honoring it, and then going back to what you're doing helps so that it doesn't just keep rising up, up, up until we explode.
Yes, yes, very, very true. I feel like, we're somehow conditioned to be chasing this constant feeling of positivity and happiness, and that we all want to be in this feeling of bliss. And if we can really connect with whatever we're feeling, we're validating ourselves and not knowing that that's all part of life.
Right. It's part of being human.
Hmm. Yeah, so good. Thank you so much, Christine. This is all such food for thought for all of us throughout our day. So really, really wonderful. And
You're
thank you to
welcome.
the folks out there too for really engaging with us. This is what makes this such a rich experience, is that
Mm.
we have these wonderful instructors like Christine that can start us talking, but then, then we can support one another in whatever is going on in our lives. So that's what we call community. So we're grateful
Yes.
for it. Thank you again, Christine.
Thank you, Suzanne, and thank you everyone for participating. I hope you all have a wonderful day.
Yes. Good day to everyone. And we'll hope to see you on Thursday as well at 8:30. See you soon. Thanks again.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.